topic being independence, or rather dependence. So let's dive right into the topic. Independent, being independent. So many of us, when we are growing up, this thought, and especially if you happen to be a girl, then this thought is put into you. And I say, as we look at it from the outside, I say this thought is put into you that you should be independent, that you should stand as an independent entity. You should be independent. You should not depend on people. You should hold a job. You should have your own money. You should have your own this, that, and the other, so that you are independent. And we grow up with that thought saying, okay, either we are independent or we are dependent on somebody else's money. The question in mind in most of these places, or rather the topic in mind in most of these places, is money. If you have your own money, you are independent. If you don't have your own money, then you are not independent. Okay. And that's how we are taught, we are taught to look at ourselves and value our worth. So many of the people, as we were growing up, and we would meet some of these beautiful women, and when you ask them, okay, what is it that you would do? And what is it that you do? And they would say, oh, I'm just a housewife. That was a common thing to say. Oh, I'm just a housewife. So if you are not working in a corporate setting, if you are not making some money, if you are not earning some money, then you are just a housewife, and really just a housewife with just no value. And that's how we were told to value ourselves. Now, when we look at the energy of these things, and we are able to see through the energy that no matter what I say, oh, my parents put me in that spot, or my parents taught me that. But when we bring the finger to ourselves, we are able to see that the parents can only teach you what you are already resonating at. So your parents cannot teach you any new frequency. Whatever experience you have come to receive, anything that you have come to receive, any place that you wish to experience, whatever experiences you have chosen, your energy has chosen, that is where your parents will take you to. If not your parents, somebody or the other will take you to those experiences. But it's not that they taught you that. It's basically your energy was vibrating. Your energy was vibrating at that level. And so it decided to pick up those pointers. It decided to pick up those experiences. So if you grew up thinking, okay, I need to be independent. If I don't earn my money, I have no value. Nobody will value me when I don't make money. Guess what? You are absolutely right, because then when you didn't make your own money, people didn't value you. And you thought to yourself, yeah, see, all of this is happening. I have no value because I am not the bread earner, because I don't make the money. But actually, all of that was not happening because you are not the bread earner. It was happening because you hold these programs that no one values me. When you hold the program, when you give energy to that program, that's where these realities get created. That's how these realities get created. Not from that people, whether they value you or they don't value you, whether you make an earning or you don't make an earning, whether you have money in a bank account or you don't have money in a bank account, your value is created from the place where you are thinking about your value. It's so funny, right? So many times nowadays. So as all of you know, or most of you know, I used to be an investment banker and a corporate banker, and held many different positions in my life. And then when I stopped earning, I stopped making money, I stopped going for a job and everything. I've become completely useless is what I think, except that I don't put my value according to the usefulness or the uselessness that I hold in my mind. I think I just sit in the front of in front of a screen and talk to 50 of you. Thankfully, you 50 land up over here, and that gives me joy that you are here to listen to me and I'm here to have gappe with you. But apart from that, I'm like, okay, this is just my way of passing time. When I was an investment banker or a banker or an officer someplace or whatever, that was my way of passing time then. My value was not derived from who I was then, and my value is not derived from the role that I hold right now. And from that place, when I came from that place, I didn't realize it then, but now I recognize it as being the place of abundance. Abundance of what in this, you may ask? Abundance of self-love. Because when you don't value yourself from something external to you, that means that you are already playing in self-love. When you think that a job is going to give you some money in your bank account, is going to give you more respect in the society, then you will not get respect. Not because the society is not ready to respect you, but because you have these programs that are working against you, and you are giving fire and fuel to these programs constantly, that I have no value because I don't make any money. Nobody listens to me because I don't make any money. Nobody listens to me because I am not independent. I am dependent on somebody else. Many marriages, people come to me and say, oh, I'm stuck in such a bad marriage. And I say, okay, if you're stuck in the marriage, walk away. No, I'm dependent on my husband. He's the one who's taking care of me. I cannot walk away. The frequencies of this we will go into later. But firstly, to even understand that nobody can take care or can give to somebody something that is not in their energy. So if you are receiving 100 rupees from somewhere, no matter who you are receiving it from, however less or however more you are receiving, but to understand that you are receiving as per your energy, that somebody outside is simply a medium to hand over what your energy holds. So if you receive a lot, well, be in gratitude. But what we need to understand is it's not them that is giving to us. It is our frequency. It is our energy. It is what our energy field looks like that has something called money or something called facilities and all of that, which are coming to us because it is in our energies. Mostly what we do, and especially if we are stuck in a marriage only because we are dependent on somebody, then if we are stuck in a marriage from that marriage is not going to give us any joy ever. Not today, not later. It is not going to give us joy only because it is seeded. The seed of this one is in lack. The lack that I don't have enough and somebody else needs to give it to me. That is the lack where you are playing out from. If the frequency is of lack, it will only keep creating more and more lack in your life. And when the lack is created in these ways, it mostly also looks like lack of love. So you will not even be receiving love in your marriage only because your frequency holds lack. Your finger is outside, your finger is on somebody else, that somebody else should bring me into abundance. Somebody else is responsible for my happiness. Somebody else is responsible for taking care of me. And if they stop taking care of me, then tomorrow I will not have enough. I will not be able to take care of myself. To have that kind of trust or faith in your own frequency, that no matter what it is that I am receiving it from my energy. No matter what I am not receiving, I'm also not receiving from my own energy. And the work then only points to the finger within. Take a look at which frequencies you're sitting in and where are those frequencies and how are those frequencies manifesting. The minute we are able to look at what our frequencies are manifesting, now we become the aware soul. Now we become the person who can actually look at those frequencies and also to shift from wherever it is back to peace of mind, back to peace of mind. The energy within being peace of mind, the outside manifestation, whether it is of money or it is of something else, it stops to matter. And when it stops to matter, the universe provides and provides. Why? Because the universe will do everything to be reflecting your own energy back at you. When you are sitting in peace of mind, when you are sitting in joy, the universe will do everything to give you joy. And in that joy itself, one of the ways the universe gives us joy is by providing for us. When things happen for us, when things happen with so much ease and grace, what do we feel? We feel a lot of joy. And so the universe will do things for you, but you have to allow it. You have to let it do things for you without the interference of the mind. Just simply operating from the heart and working not from the mind will bring us to that place. Going back to the topic of being independent. So the idea itself, when we look at independence, if you're only looking at such a small, limited idea of independence, that, oh, if the money is with me, then I'm independent and I can do things that I like. But if the money doesn't have my name written on it, then I'm not independent. Oh, I have to always ask them for money. And it is such a bad feeling to be asking somebody else for money, to always be in a beggar state. Again, it is these kind of programs which make it so difficult for us, because then when we believe so strongly against being a beggar, then constantly the universe will keep putting us in that space of being a beggar. Otherwise, if you look at it, in every other place, you're already a beggar. You're always a beggar, and that is how you're meant to live your life, without getting attached to anything, enjoying everything that happens today in the now. That would be a beggar life. Not caring about what is to happen tomorrow, where will I get my next meal from, will I have enough money to send my children to college or not. None of those playing out. Only today. Today I have my meal, I am happy. That would be a beggar life. And that would be so amazingly awesome to be living that life, keeping your mind space over here empty of the thoughts of future and not bothering about the past. That would be the perfect beggar. But we are not that beggar. Most of the times when we are even trying to instill these kind of values, we call them values, that we have to be productive for the society. We have to do things that make us proud in the society. We have to be independent. We cannot be a leech on somebody else. We cannot be a parasite on the society. And then also the judgments that we hold for people, that we deem that those people are parasites. When we look at the energies of it all, there are so many different places where you haven't looked, where you yourself are the parasite, you yourself are the leech. What are all those places, you might ask? Well, when we look at just a daily life, we are breathing air. Have you bought that air from our money? No, we haven't. We are a leech on the supplies of air. We are just sucking in air all the time, and we are throwing out carbon dioxide. When we eat the food that is on our plate, so many different times, so many processes have happened to get the food onto our plate. And all that we do is we throw it here, we throw it there. We are a parasite. Am I telling you to not throw the food and to always be finishing whatever is on your plate? Actually, no, not at all. I don't work on those limits. And I actually, there are many times where I've had these conversations with people who think about waste and say, no, we shouldn't waste. We should be more conscientious. We shouldn't waste. And I simply say, waste or productive is simply an adjective, and it's our judgment. A waste to somebody is productive to somebody else. But when we look at something and we term it as waste, for anything it might be for food, or we look at, oh, this is the chemical waste. What does it induce in us? That frequency, that emotion is all that we are creating for ourselves. A chemical waste is happening in the lands of the United States. But when we hear about that waste and how the waste is being dumped into the oceans and stuff like that, what is that emotion that is being created in me as I hear about the waste? That is where you catch your own private little universe. When I hear of the wastes that are happening and the wastes that are being dumped in the oceans, and the oceans are dying, and this is happening and that is happening, what do I feel? Oh, I feel so sad. I feel like the human man, the mankind is just so rotten, and they do all of these evil things, and we are not looking at our future generations. What does that do to me? Oh, it gets me aggravated. This aggravation and this sadness and this disappointment with the human race, all of these frequencies, the disappointment frequency, the waste frequency that puts you in sadness, these frequencies belong to you. They don't belong to the ocean. They don't belong to the animals that are alive, the animals that are dying. But this frequency belongs to you. As something is happening on the outside, what is it that you are experiencing? That experience belongs to you. And that is what you are going to hold in your energy field. Nothing new. I say this all the time. However, I pick up topics and topics go to another topics, but I come back to the same thing, always looking within as to what am I feeling? When this happens, what am I feeling? When that happens, what am I feeling? Because the news, any news that we hear of anything at all, if it's creating a trigger inside you, if it's creating an emotion inside you, then the work has come on you to observe that emotion. When we are looking outside, we can keep judging this is right and that is wrong. And each of these adjectives will simply take us to a place of deeper and deeper judgment. And when we understand the energies, when we work in the energy space, when we are looking at nobody else outside, but all the work only within, because I am the only one that exists in my universe. When we come from this space of energies, then we realize that the all adjectives that we have used, all the adjectives, this is good, that is bad, is simply an adjective that we are using for another form of ourselves. There is no other. There is that other form that also belongs to us. If we are triggered, if we create an emotion, then that form also has taken a life in our universe. It becomes a part of our universe and keeps creating more of the same frequencies. So if something is frustrating you or making you feel disappointed, disillusioned, these disillusioned frequencies, these disappointed frequencies are yours, and they will keep creating themselves. They will keep creating and churning again and again, and you will keep receiving deeper and deeper experiences of the same frequencies. That is how life in unawareness works. The only way that we can become aware, or at least act in a little bit more of awareness, is by bringing the finger within on our emotion. Again, when we talk about dependencies, there is no way that we can even survive for half a day if we are not dependent on one thing or another. We depend on money, we depend on food, we depend on air, we depend on water. We are just purely dependent. When we are using all of these things, most of the times we don't get triggered with emotions, unless of course we are wasting something and then mother says you can't be wasting something. So then the mother is triggered that you are wasting. The work is on the mother. If you are the one who also gets triggered when somebody is leaving something as a waste, take a look. That waste or not a waste, how is that going to be used? How is that going to be used by your body? I always, even when I was younger, and my mom would normally say to me, you can't be wasting food. So she would be finishing food that was on everybody's table. I think that's a very mom thing to do. And she would be finishing food that was on everybody's plate. And I would always tell her, I said, well, there's a dustbin outside and there's a dustbin inside, but you're just choosing between the two dustbins. And that was something. And today, as I understand the energies, I understand that when she comes, that when she looks at waste, the feeling is of guilt. She's feeling guilty, and then so she's eating it. But whatever she's eating from guilt, that people are wasting, or she's eating something from a place of feeling bad for some farmers, or feeling bad for somebody else who's not getting to eat. Guilt. If you are going to eat something from guilt, it is only going to create more guilt within you. That's all. That action doesn't matter whether you finished off the food or you didn't finish the food. The action, so not important, but the energy that you are using while you are doing that action is where all the game is. And so if you are trying to be independent, but the energy that you have is anxiety, that no, I have to be independent because otherwise people will not value me. I have to be independent because otherwise, this will go wrong, or my future will not be that good. I cannot be just a housewife. I have to create more value for myself. Anxiety and fears are where you are operating from, apart from lack. Lack of love will only bring you more lack of love. Mute. Amrita. All right. So yeah, Amrita muted. in the place of independence of food, independence of career, independence of finances, and all of that. We cannot be, that was the only point to be made, that we cannot be, because we are only operating from lack as we try to make ourselves independent. We are only operating from fear. And the only thing that will manifest again and again is fear of the same happening. So it will manifest. It will manifest that there will be a few times when you will not be able to be independent in whatever terms you thought. And then you will get to see the repercussions of that. But really, the repercussions are not made because of the physical manifestation. The repercussions were already created from the thoughts that you hold. The second part where we also operate is when we think ahead in the future and we think of how, when we get old, what our future is going to look like. And we are kind of sometimes worried that I never want to be dependent on anyone. I don't want to be dependent on my children. I don't want to be dependent on this and that, because that I have seen how that works out. I just never want to be dependent on anybody. Again, when you look at this, I don't want this, I don't want that. These are frequencies of resistance. When we are resisting something, whatever we resist persists. So when you think of a future and you think about how, if you are in a space where, let's say, you need help from your children, you need help from your neighbors, you need help from nurses in getting up, no matter what the scenario it is that is calling out to you saying, this is what life is going out to be. But you can look at each of those scenarios and change the way that you think about it. That's all. Your thought is where all of the game lies. And the frequency right now that you are using for those thoughts is that of fear, is that of, again, of lack, that you will not be receiving love from anybody if you are dependent on them. That's where. So I will not be receiving any love if 5 people have to care for me on a daily basis. They will not be caring for me from love. They will be bound by my condition. And so again, even when we look at the future like that, we are already feeling guilty, apart from the fact that we are holding fear about those situations and we are operating from lack. So when a future scenario comes up, a future that has not even played out, a future that is yet to even be formed, because the future is only a play of the energies that we hold. So as you're looking at the future out there, change your programs, change the frequency from which you think of the future. When I think of the future, well, there used to be times when, because even for the longest time, I wasn't married. And even then, when I was married, and then we decided to not have children, and then everybody would be like, but you're not having any children. How will anybody, how will you be taken care of? Who will take care of you? Your children are meant to do that when you are older. Who will take care of you? Well, how beautiful is that I didn't subscribe to that. Somebody taking care of me has to be related to me. And I always used to come up with, I pay things forward. I take care of people, and somebody or the other, the universe will send to me. This is days when I was not aware. But I would still say, universe will send me somebody to take care of me, because that's how it works. And I used to think that it works because I'm taking care of some people who are not related to me, and I'm just being helpful. And so the universe will definitely find something and somewhere, someone that will be helpful towards me also, and will be able to tolerate all my tantrums as well. And look at that. Isn't that so beautiful that even in unawareness, the frequency was not of fear? And that's what seems to be, in the way of manifesting, that there are so many people that we find around me, I find around me, and people who are, ready to look after me, people who are ready to help me, people who are ready to help me, love me, be with me, whenever the smallest of things happen. And I totally understand today that it is the manifestation of the energy that I hold. And so for you as well, when you look in the future, when you look at anything in the future with fear, take a look at the fear itself. That's simply a frequency. The universe has not subscribed to that fear frequency as yet, or even if it has subscribed to your fear frequency, you can always shift that frequency. The shift is in our hands, but the shift is what involves some conscious awareness. your awareness of what frequency you are sitting at as you think of these topics of dependency, interdependency, independency. Whenever you are thinking of these topics, from where are you thinking about? And so once we begin to catch our train of thought, we recognize that even me, for example, if today I'm sitting in a frequency of fear, today all my thoughts about all the topics that I think about are going to come from that fear space. And tomorrow, when I wake up and let us say I have tuned into the frequency of joy, the same topics, the same very topics, but the thoughts are going to be different because the thoughts are simply arising from the frequencies that are underlying those thoughts. And so to be able to catch that thought, such an easy way, what am I feeling? As I think something, what am I feeling as my thoughts of future? Oh, they're very worrying thoughts because I have nobody to take care of me. I will be alone. Well, what are you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling very lonely and sad. Well, guess what? It's your sadness frequency that is creating these thoughts of loneliness. And what is there to do? Shift your frequency. Simply just shift your frequency. I see something in chat. Okay. So much in love with this me. Oh, so cute. Okay. Yeah, so any questions about, so it's a very small topic, but it's like this, that when we think about independence, we are so limited even in our thought process. For us, just having money in the bank account or not having money in the bank account. And yet we find so many people with money in their bank accounts, the bodies are not working and they are totally dependent on others. They're dependent on nurses, they're dependent on their children, whatever. Money in the bank account doesn't matter. When we think of independence in any other way, just simply look at, you were not meant to be. You were not meant to be independent. If you were meant to be independent, this family structure around you would not be there. You would have been, born and then left to fend yourself. But you are dependent on a smaller structure, and then in a larger structure of a society, and then an even larger structure of, wherever you are living, the country that you are in. You are meant to be independent. So you can let go of this thought of how, oh, my daughter, I want her to be independent. Crap idea. And it's never going to be that, except in your mind and in their mind, the insecurities it creates when the daughter is not independent, or when the son hasn't still found his financial independence. And it's all about the fears that you are resonating at and the fears that they are resonating at. And the two of you are a perfect vibrational match. Only then will your children listen to you about this financial independence, because the two of you are a perfect match to each other in terms of the fear frequency, not in terms of the prosperity frequency. No, sir. This is all about being in the fear frequency and wanting some kind of independence, some kind of a saving, some kind of a safety net, if you please, around you so that you are taken care of. The other way to look at this could be that you sit in the frequency of abundance, and the only thing that you have to know within yourself is, I am taken care of. That's it. That's all the independence that you need, whether independent or dependent. I am taken care of. Who will take care of me? When will it happen? How will it happen? We leave that part to the universe. And that's called having faith in the universe. Just a few days ago, I was talking to somebody and they said, I have a lot of faith in the universe, but at some points I hesitate. And I simply smiled inside, because I've kind of understood that through my path, when I used to also say, oh, I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith, except, some parts I have to do myself. And then one day, when Mani was explaining this to me, and he used this line, and I constantly use this line nowadays, because he said, you can never be half pregnant. And so just in that way, you can never have half faith. Either you are pregnant or you are not. You can't say, oh, I'm 80% pregnant. No, either you're fully pregnant or you're not pregnant. And faith works exactly in the same way. Either you have faith or you don't have faith. So if you are going to move between this and that or whatever, Take your time to reach the faith frequency. But once you're in the faith frequency, you are in it. Then you don't budge from there. You have the faith. You have many other frequencies. You have sadness, you have, anger, you have joy, you have laughter. But the faith frequency, if you are in it, that runs in the background. That's that, either you can be in the faith frequency or the doubt frequency. That doubt frequency would be where you think you are half pregnant, but either you have faith or you have doubt. 2%, I have 2% doubt. It's still doubt. It doesn't work like that. Faith is the frequency of the heart where all the magic happens. So in our path, as we get more and more stronger on our faith frequency and we begin to trust and leave everything to the universe, now we are fully dependent on the universe, fully dependent, and we don't care. Because when we are fully dependent on something, we become this little child. We become this little child that is totally, fully dependent on the mother. It doesn't care where its next meal is going to come from, but the child knows that if the mother is there, the meal will come. Fully dependent. And that is the most beautiful place to be that little child in the lap of the universe. And so we can be fully dependent and not worry about independent, dependent, totally independent, half independent, etc., etc. So that is my talk for the day. I have some time. Anybody wants to ask some questions? Any questions regarding this or anything else for that matter? Any questions, anyone? Okay. Well, okay. So that's probably the last line is what is going to lead into the meditation itself. So let's go with the meditation. And take a deep breath in and exhale. And take a deep breath in and completely letting go of all the stress. Wherever you can feel it in the body, simply release. Take a look at the body, your face, your eyes, your neck, your ears, your upper body, your lower body, hands, arms, feet, back, abdomen, any place. If you're able to feel any stress at all in this moment, very lovingly, very gently, talking to that body part, I acknowledge your presence and the pain that you're experiencing. I allow. And in this moment, very gently, for now, I'm ready to release it. Just for now, just for a few minutes. Very gently, just releasing, allowing, and then releasing any stiffness, any heaviness, anywhere in the body. This body, the experiencer in this life, this body that came attached to the umbilical cord. And so, as you take the next breath in, imagine yourself as the tiny little body in the womb, going back into the womb space. You're attached to the umbilical cord and you're just simply floating there, getting ready for your experiences. But right now, connected in the energies to your divinity and also connected in the body to your divine mother. Imagine yourself as that little tiny little formless energy shape. And as you are simply floating, the energy is getting ready for its experiences. Take a check right now. What is it that you are coming to experience? You will have the answer because you're still not born. You are connected to your energy space and you're coming to the earth for some experiences. So simply, very gently, ask this question in the universe. What is it that I am coming to experience as this energy in this body, through this life? What am I here to experience? And whatever the answer, whatever words come to you, simply make a note of that word, of that thought. Whatever thoughts come to you, just make a note. That is what your body was meant to experience in this life. And now, the energy that you are, the energy that you are, take a look at the life that has gone by. Have you experienced whatever it is you came to experience? Is it done? Is it yet to be received? Pose this question in the universe and you will receive an answer. If you have already received whatever it is that you were meant to receive, the experiences you were meant to receive of duality, in whichever way duality had to pay out. If you have already received those experiences, then simply thanking, being in gratitude for the energies, for shaping your life till now. If you are yet to receive some more of those same experiences, then also for the life that has gone by, for all the experiences received until now, thank you, thank you, thank you. If the words that came to you about your experiences are in the frequencies of joy and laughter and surrender, then simply thank this life for the joy, for the laughter, for the surrender that it has taught to you. If the purpose that came through the energy space is something that you wish to shift now, maybe some sadness is what you came to experience. Maybe some lack of love is what you came to experience. And maybe the answer is that you are yet to receive. However, in the energies, we can simply shift our frequency and the work is done. In a moment, that energy can shift. Many more experiences in the future, but the future itself is so dynamic when you are aware. And so, in this moment of now, in this moment of awareness, allowing the body to shift the frequency. No matter what the frequency is, no matter what the experience is, you, with your awareness, can shift your frequency to meanal frequency. In the now, I am ready to shift. In the now, my energy is no longer that which I came to experience. So you can shift. This is your power. And so with these lines, I shift my experiences right now. I tune into the frequency of Meenal. I am Meenal. I am masti within. Within the masti. And then from there, a little masti outside as well. Going back to the baby in the womb, take a look at the baby. And now once again, ask the question, what is it that the baby is coming to experience? Receive the answer from the universe. If the answer is now love or laughter or joy, masti, abundance. If the answer is any of these, you are in the Meenal frequency. If the answer is something else, it's okay. You shifted your frequency back and forth. That's okay. You can shift again. In every now, you can choose to shift again. All that is needed is the reminder that you have the power to shift. That place in the womb where you are, that is the place of creation, your creation. Yes, you are getting created over there. And it doesn't matter if you are out in the energies, you're still in the womb. And the universe is your mother. And the universe is feeding to you through the umbilical cord every frequency. But in your aware space, you can choose the frequency. Thankfulness to this divine universe that is our mother. Thankfulness to ourselves as we take shape in the body to experience everything that the mother gives to us. If you are feeling the frequencies that you still feel that you want to shift, it's okay. You can always go back to this place again and again and shift back to joy. Shift back to joy. In the aware self, the universe gives to us whatever it is that we wish to experience. And now, in the now, I am aware. In the now, I am aware. In the now, I have the power of love. I love myself. I love all myself. Watch yourself as the little baby, that formless form. Give it all the love energy. Give it all the love energy. Send love to that little baby, because that is you as the most powerful creation. Being able to tap into that space, you can do so anytime. You can go back to that space and feel your powerful creation at any point in time. You can go to Meenal frequencies at any time. You can choose joy at any time. You can choose love at any time. These are choices of your aware birth. And in this moment, you were born again. Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani. Okay, everyone, lots and lots of love. Enjoy. Have fun.
Hi. Hi, Ma. Thank you. Bye. Bye, Ma.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ma.
Lots of
Thank
love.
you, Peter. Thank you so much. Really nice.